Hey, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. So instead of having a required live session on Zoom this week, I thought that I would just pre-record a video to give you some important information and updates. So that's what this is. And what I want to do real quick is go over 5 tips to help you be successful in Math 3 going forward with distance learning. So the first tip is to use the agenda and assignments document. So that's what I have up on my screen right here. As a reminder, this is the place you should be looking every week for your complete list of assignments, for the directions, for what I expect from you, for how to submit things. This is where all of the information is every week that I need to get to you. So I am emailing you this every Monday morning. I'm posting it on Google Classroom, and I'm also updating our class page on the school website. So there are 3 places each week where you can access this document. You really have no excuse for not knowing where it is or not knowing how to find it. So in the document every week, I'm outlining for you all of the tasks that you need to complete. If there is a link that you need, or if there's extra directions on something, they are very clearly written out here. And then I always give you how to submit the assignment. So make sure that you're using this each week and you're just going through the list and making sure that you complete all of those assignments. So tip number 2, make sure that you're checking your email and reading your email. I'm emailing you the document each week, but when I send you that email, I'm also highlighting things that are important for the week. So for example, if there's a required live session, it's going to be in that email. If there's a change to something, it's going to be in the email. So even if you're not planning to start your work when I send you the email, you still need to read that email because it might have things that are pertinent to you for the week. And really, you should be checking your email for all of your classes. Right now, that's the only way that I have to communicate with you. So it is so important that you check your email and that you're actually reading the information that's coming to you in those emails. So tip number 3 is to make sure that you're turning things in on time. So you'll notice this week that your circles project, I've changed the due date for that. So originally it was due during your class period this week. It is now due Tuesday night at 11:59 for everybody. So Tuesday night is the end of our school week this week, since you just have a short week. You only have classes Monday and Tuesday. So with the exception of this week, because it's a short week, in a normal week, your assignments are always due Friday at 11:59 p.m. That's going to be consistent until we're done with distance learning. So you should always know that that's the due date for all of your assignments for the week. I've been very lenient on accepting late work and not penalizing you for turning things in late because we've all been adjusting to this new system and this new process. But I need you to know that after spring break, there are going to be penalties for not doing things on time. Everything is very clearly outlined for you. The due date now should be very obvious because it is the same every week. So you really need to make sure that you're completing all of your assignments by Friday at midnight. Part of the reason that I opted for that is to give you the weekends off. I don't want you doing this stuff over the weekends. I want you to do the work that you're supposed to do during the week and then have the weekend off. Have the weekend to not do schoolwork, okay? So that brings me to tip number 4. I personally would suggest that you sit down and do all of your math work at one time. Ideally, I would suggest that you do it during your class period. So for first period, that means 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. on Tuesdays. And for fifth period, that means from noon to 3 p.m. on Fridays. I think the people right now that are most successful and that are keeping up the most or the best are people that are just sitting down and going down the list and getting it all done at one time. The benefit to doing it during your class period is that I will always be available during that time to help you on Zoom. So I plan to always have a Q&A Zoom session open during your class period so that if you're working on something, you can just hop onto the Zoom link and chat with me and get some help while you're working. If you opt to do your work late at night or on a day that our class doesn't meet, then it's a lot harder for you to be able to ask me a question. You can send me an email, but I may not be able to respond to it right away. So if you work during your class period, during that designated time for our class, it'll be much easier for you to ask me for help. And I think that you'll find that you just stay much more organized and it's much easier to get your work done because you're just knocking it all out at one time. You don't have to keep up with it throughout the week. And then the last thing that I want to talk about to kind of piggyback off of that is please ask for help if you need it. Like I said, I'm going to try really hard to have that live Zoom session for you to hop on for questions during your periods each week. I'm also available on Wednesdays when you don't have other classes. And if neither of those times work for you, shoot me an email and we'll figure out another time for me to help you. Just because we're not having live sessions each week, that doesn't mean that I don't want to help you. It just that videos and the online assignments are the best way for me to get you information, to get you the notes that you need, and for me to give you the practice that you need. I don't think that I can be a very effective teacher in a live Zoom session. So that's why I've opted not to do that. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to see you or that I don't want to help you. So please know that if you need my help, I am here. So as a reminder, make sure you're using the agenda and assignments document. Make sure you're reading it. Make sure you're checking your email. Make sure you're turning things in on time, which except for this week, because it's a short week, on time means Friday at 11:59 p.m. I would suggest that you do all of your work at once. Just sit down and knock it all out. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Know that I'm still here for you and that I still want to help you. So now that you've watched this, you need to finish your circles project this week. And then there's a feedback form on the agenda this week. So it's a place for you to kind of tell me what's been working well for you. What are you struggling with? What about this class do you feel like is successful right now? What would you change? It is completely anonymous. It's really just a place for you to give me your feedback. And I'm just curious to know how you guys are feeling and how this is going for you. So that's the purpose of that form. So you need to do those two things this week, and that's it. And then enjoy your spring break. Don't do any work for me over spring break. Hopefully you don't have any work for any of your other teachers. Enjoy the time off, because I know that this has been a lot to adjust to, and I think we could all use the break. So let me know if you need anything. I miss you guys. Have a great break.